so Joe Rogan's whole ethos is that he's like a kingmaker, okay? He is like a kingmaker selling shit to an audience of low information men. That's really what it is. I mean, when you look at Rogan, like I listen to him when he talks to people and I don't even understand why people watch this fucking show. This whole thing is filled with like the least interesting, low vibrational nonsense. It's just so phony. None of it has any moral center. None of it is anchored in reality. It's just like a nonsense machine. And these guys are like really posture a type of masculinity that's pretty passé. But now watch this. Joe Rogan and Andrew Schulz mock Trump for calling the Epstein files a hoax.
But the Epstein files is a hoax?
Bro, the fucking Epstein thing is just...
Nothing but a hoax!
It's just, I don't even understand. I don't get it. I don't get it. It is the easiest political victory. Like, if you just
it is,
do
but
it
isn't. Here's the thing.
Yeah.
I'm not supporting anything. Just be really clear, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah.
But if you have relationships with all these insanely wealthy people that are going to be severely impacted by this, like this is the ultimate political football. Because I don't know what the numbers are. I don't know who the people are, but I've heard things. And if those things are true, you're dealing with some of the most powerful people in the world, some of the wealthiest people in the world.
Andrew Schulz is a fucking loser, bro. He is. Dude, these guys are both losers, but this guy especially is a fucking loser. But anyway, so this left-wing site is saying they're mocking Trump for calling the Epstein files a hoax. But like, dude, they're not mocking Trump. They're like playing the side of like the people who want to see the Epstein files. And they're like, you know, saying, oh, Epstein files because, you know, like wanting to release the files is something that, you know, a lot of people, like 90% of America wants to see this shit. But the fact of the matter is they are now on the other side of the fence. Now they're like, oh, Trump is like, you know, politically committing suicide. Trump is screwing this up. And Rogan's like, well, if you're buddies with all these guys, you kind of have to cover it up. You know what I mean? But again, if you look at this, there's no ethos. There's no ethos. And they're even very importantly how he's like, I'm not taking a side here, right? That's just it. They never take a side, but they kind of do because everything they do is right-wing coded. Okay, and why is it right-wing coded? Because of money, okay? Because Joe Rogan gets rich when the right wing controls the government. He gets richer, even though he doesn't need to be richer. But these guys, they have no allegiance to an ethos. They don't have an allegiance. Like even with the Epstein files, they'll discuss it as like, oh, yeah, more like it'll be juicy to watch some people burn because of the Epstein files, but they don't care about the victims, okay? They don't care about the victims. They don't even care if Trump is involved. Watch this, okay? This is the same guy. This is the guy who's like, ooh, Epstein files are a big deal to this guy, but watch him.
The sides switched so much. You know, when I was younger, like Democrats were cool. They were getting their dick sucked in the office. They were like, right? They were like, they were like supportive of like hip hop music. They said, do whatever you want. Like, we don't want to be in your bedroom. They were cool with gay people. Like, it was cool to be a Democrat. Now, conservatives got 3 baby mamas. The president got 3 baby mamas. He's getting pussy left and right. Right? He's cool. He's the one saying, say whatever the fuck you want. So now conservatives have become Democrats. So I don't think I've changed. I just like the dudes that get pussy and say whatever they want. So it's you want me to be a Democrat again? Get some pussy. Tell me to say whatever I want. I'm there.
Dude, like, think about that, bro. And I know he's trying so hard to be like a cool guy, a guy who gets laid, right? A womanizer. But look at him with his stupid fucking, you know, Velcro mustache, bro. Dude, what is up with the mustache? Andrew Schulz, you stick some Velcro on your lip or what? Right? And you're talking about Trump getting laid? Trump raped women, bro. Trump was hanging out with Epstein. Trump was hanging out with 14-year-old girls, man. You think that's funny? You talked about Bill Clinton getting a blowjob at work, dude, pressuring a young intern girl to hook up with him or he would ruin her political career. You think that shit is cool? Dude, that shit ain't cool. You're not cool. You look like a goddamn moron, right? With the fucking Velcro mustache. And you're out here like trying to reduce politics to like who fucking sexually abuses women the most and lets you just say whatever you want without consequences. Like, what the fuck are you doing? So this is the guy who's now like, this guy doesn't care about the Epstein files. Okay? This guy does not give a shit about the Epstein files. This guy does not give a shit about the women in the Epstein files. Not at all, dude. Not at all. Okay? This guy. These guys, Joe Rogan and these guys, they don't care about anything. You know what I'm saying? They don't. They have no loyalty whatsoever. Okay? And then you see something like this. This is Rogan just standing on whatever side of the fence he decides to stand on in that moment. Like he's going to be a leftist for like 5 seconds here.
Let's just talk about the immigration thing. The way it looks is horrific. When you're just arresting people in front of their kids and just normal, regular people that have been here for 20 years, that everybody who has a heart can't get along with that.
No.
Everybody who has a heart sees that and goes, that can't be right.
But do you even notice here? Do you notice the language he uses? Even here, he doesn't say he has a problem with it. He says, well, when you do this, it looks bad. And everybody with a heart is not going to get on board with it. But he is very clear. He doesn't say that he has a heart and he has an issue with it. He just says it looks bad, right? You know what I mean? Even his sort of criticism of Donald Trump is through a lens of somebody who is just as sociopathic as him.
That can't be right. That can't be the only way to do this.
Right.
Because you have to think, look, yeah, we have to have a border. Yes, it should have been secure. Yes, they should make sure you know who everybody is before they get in.
Yeah.
But when people been here for 20 years, like, come on, man. That's crazy. Like, let's find a way. If they've been productive members of society for 20 years, no criminal record, they worked the entire time, they paid taxes, find them a pathway to citizenship. Find a way where you can do this thing that you want to do, which is keep terrorists and cartel members from getting across the border with drugs that kill 100,000 people a year. Okay, but also have a fucking heart. Because if you don't, you're not going to get anybody on your side. If you're doing this stuff publicly, throwing women to the ground, handcuffing people, just for existing.
See, you notice what he said there too, though? If you do, you're not going to get anyone on your side. None of what he said is rooted in how horrible it is, the treatment of the human beings, or the fact that it's inhumane and unethical and fucking cruel, right? He's just like, you're not going to win people on your side if you show them that side of yourself. But he doesn't really condemn the harm caused. He's even just thinking of like, how we can pull this shit off without like anybody getting mad at us, right? Everything is sort of the manipulation and the PR of it, right?
Existing on the wrong side of the dirt.
Yeah.
Not a criminal. Not the only crime they ever committed was coming over here as a kid.
Yeah.
They probably didn't even know what the fuck was going on.
Yeah. Yeah, man.
You know, a lot of kids got snuck across when they were already born in Mexico. And they've grown up their entire life in America. They can't even speak Spanish.
Again, this guy, okay, this guy is not a leftist, okay? This guy's not a humanist. This guy's not concerned about human beings. He's not concerned about what they really go through, right? Even when him and Andrew Schulz are talking about the Epstein files, they're not concerned about the victims or the Epstein files themselves. To them, it's just a media circus. It's just an opportunity to have something to talk about that's going to get a lot of eyes on his podcast and translate to a lot of those dollars. Okay? Which is why you know, I mean, look who he hangs out with. He goes to the UFC. He's sitting in the same row as Dana White. He's got the photo ops with Dana White. You know, I mean, Joe Rogan is like 5'2". I mean, he's a tiny guy, dude. He really is. He's like 4'10" or something, right? He's so small, bro. And he's like hanging out with Dana White, who is a wife beater and a toxic human being who also is sociopathic, does not care about anybody. He doesn't even care that he hits his own wife on camera, dude. He could care less. He's just there to fucking cash in. They're all just there to cash in and to have power, okay? To have power, dude. This shit, man, dude, he is not a short king. No, he is not. Oh, these guys are terrible, bro. See, this is part of the problem, though, guys, is these guys are the ones that they're offering men shortcuts. That's what they are. If you look at what has happened, there's been a shift in the last 20 years where DEI took hold and women started becoming CEOs. Women started owning their own brands, started running companies, started gaining political power. So young women saw the results of women succeeding in DEI. I mean, DEI was supposed to help everybody, and to an extent, it helped people of color. But the biggest benefactors of DEI were white women, okay, for sure, hands down, okay, because they were white and they were proximity to white men, so they were the biggest beneficiaries of DEI. Okay, now, young women saw women wildly succeeding for like 20 years. So young women have put nose to the grindstone and started going to college at extraordinarily high rates and graduating with extraordinarily high grades. You know what I'm saying? Like the women have really ramped up because of a generation of women breaking glass ceilings because of DEI. At the same time, the men have done the opposite, okay? The men have stopped going to college, stopped getting good grades, stopped really excelling, and simultaneously, they've sort of been, you know, grabbed by the gaming community, which has said, wow, they're oppressing you. Everybody's taking your shit. You're being unfairly targeted. The women are getting all these benefits, and you're being harmed by them. And there became this sort of toxic culture around men not really working that hard anymore, okay? And then being resentful and angry at the women and everybody else who's passing them up. And so male college graduation rates are in the gutter. Men are not going to college in high numbers, right? And then simultaneously, though, guys, people like Joe Rogan, people like Andrew Tate, people like Donald Trump and Logan Paul and Aiden Ross and Asmongold and Dana White and all these shitters have come in and said, hey, guys, if you vote for us, if you give us power, we're going to make it so you get everything. We're going to take care of this. Like, we're going to help you stomp out all these, like, people that are oppressing you. And we're going to make sure that all you have to do is show up and you get power and money and all that shit. You just got to vote for us. Give us all the power and we're going to take care of you. Now, the reality is most of those young men are not going to get taken care of. Okay? The ones that are white and born into wealthy families are going to get taken care of, but everybody else is going to get shit on. Okay? But they're not going to realize it until they're 35 and it's too late to get all those years back. And they may be so angry by the time they realize that they just go full into the red pill anyway, because the red pill is perfect for people that are angry and resentful, because they'll give you a target and then all you have to do is aim your shit at it with them. And if you do it with them, they will reward you and let you be part of the group. So it's like, it's a pretty dangerous soup, because when you talk about messaging, guys, the Democrats can't compete with that. You can't compete with a message that says, hey guys, you're allowed to be mediocre and you don't have to try hard and you're better than everyone. And you're going to have all this power. We're going to give you a whole bunch of power. And you don't need to do shit. You can just be whatever. You can be, just show up and we'll give you everything and you don't have to fucking succeed. You don't have to try hard. And like you can't really compete with that message. You know what I'm saying? You can't. It's like they're a message of like, be a better man, right? Because they keep saying, oh, you called men toxic. You said men were bad. No, like we just asked for accountability to be a good man, to recognize your privilege and use it wisely, right? Use your whiteness, use your male privilege, and use that in a way that elevates others, that empowers others. Okay, be respectful and considerate and get in touch with your feelings so you don't spread your rage needlessly. Learn how to manage your rage and your resentment and your anger. You know what I'm saying? And like, I don't think there's anything wrong with that. There's nothing, nobody was ever saying men are bad, right? But there are certain traits that if men rely upon them, it's unhealthy for people who aren't men, right? That's kind of what it is. It's not like men are bad. It's just that if men, don't sort of realize the power and privilege of their manhood and exercise it responsibly, they create a situation where everyone who's not men can get hurt by that shit. And it's, our job as men is to like not hurt people. You know what I mean? Not hurt ourselves. I don't know. I mean, I think part of it is the obsession with having to define masculinity, right? You know what I mean? Because when you think about it, like everything a man does is masculine. Like when I cry, it's masculine. And I cry a lot. I do. I cry at movies. I cry tears of joy. What is up, guys? Thank you so much for watching. If you like the video, you want to support independent resistance media, you know what to do. Drop that sub, hit the like button, and please share it. And we do love our members, so if you want to become a member, it's another really great way to support. Thanks again for everything, guys. I'll see you next time. Let's go.